Namaskara from Karnataka, where 28 seats go to the Lok Sabha in New Delhi. The fates of 14 of those seats have been sealed today by the voters of Karnataka, and those very same voters from diverse backgrounds are standing with me today at the iconic Vidhan Sauda in Bengaluru city. The voting for phase 1 is over, but of course there is a big political discussion and other issues that are yet to be discussed, because remember, there is another phase for voting remaining in Karnataka. We will now take a moment to now just open up the floor and the conversation to our speakers here today. Syed, let me begin the conversation with you. If I can ask you, what do you think are the issues that people have voted for today?
Undoubtedly, the issues have been employment. The Karnataka youth is looking for jobs. Most importantly, they're looking for education, the right infrastructure. They're looking at hospitals. As a matter of fact, I would certainly say the able government of Siddaramaiah ji and DK Shivkumar have done prolific work with the implementation of 5 schemes, which are not just mere jumlebazi. They spoke of Anna Bhagya, and they've brought in Anna Bhagya 10 kg of rice to the BPL card holders. Not just that, Gruha Jyoti, Gruha Lakshmi, along with that Yuva Nidhi. These are the factors which have helped the women. They've helped the poor, destitute, youth, all of them together. So undoubtedly Karnataka today, the 14 seats, especially here in my city of Nammuru, Bangalore North, South, Central wards today, and they're voting for these options which are most important. As a matter of fact, the International Labour Organization spoke of 83% of Indian youths without jobs, which is very unfortunate, and Modi ji promised us 2 crore jobs every year. So that way there need to be 20 crore jobs in the last 10 years. There's absolutely no empirical data coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party whether they've provided or not. I think jobs is going to be a very big issue in this election, and I know the youth of Karnataka, the people of Karnataka will definitely vote for the party which provides them the right jobs, education, and of course Hindu-Muslim unity.
Okay. All right, Geeta ji, same question to you. What do you think people of Karnataka have voted for today?
I would say it in a different context. I mean, different contexts, different sections of people are voting differently or for different causes, reasons. Why? Because we have been working in the field for 35 years in the election campaign continuously with the women, with the people on the ground. And what are the issues coming from the women are basically to do with, of course, unemployment for the youth, but also a great amount of women speak about price rise, speak about GST that has been imposed on each and every item. And the money that would have been saved for giving up on GST would have been saved to look after their children's education. Also, the amount of attention that has not been paid to women's safety. Women's safety and security is a big primary question, because standards of living are not providing for that safety. I mean, there is no toilets, there is no street lights, there is no sanitation. So the conditions of people living on the ground, the conditions of women throw up some issues for them which are primary in these elections. Another issue that is very, very primary is that of maintaining peace. I mean, they have spoken about peace, they have spoken about the fact that there is a large amount of discrimination and hate that is there on the ground.
Okay.
On the other side, when we were going on a campaign related just before the election, just before today, it's very interesting to see a section of women whom we tried to talk to and say that please go to vote and it's important and all. They said we are very well-educated women and we don't need to be told to vote. The second thing that they said as we were passing is, when we were saying that do you see any kind of hate in this whole society that is developing? They said no, what hate? What hate is happening around? The third thing that they said is that for the last 10 years no one spoke about the temple. So we realized what was the issues that they were talking about and which section of society they belong.
All right, Dr. Rao, what are the issues that people have voted for? Do you feel that it's been national issues or local issues that people are voting for?
Good evening to everyone. See, Karnataka has a history of voting differently during state elections and central elections. So it is very obvious that our electorate differentiates when they are voting for the national elections and then for the state elections. So if they continue the same habit, we will be knowing it after the end of the result. The second thing is, this is the first time that in 50 years of voting, I have not seen absolutely no electioneering going on.
Right.
Absolutely none from any candidate. So this is very unusual. Now you could say that some party has taken it for granted that they are winning, and some party has given up and said it is not winning. That is what some of the people are saying. And some people are saying that there is just inertia and no one cares.
Right.
And we in Bangalore invariably have some of the lowest election voting shares. Now, if you are not going to vote, the politicians are not going to care for you.
Right.
And we are very good in Bangalore to complain that there is no water, or there is floods, or the roads are not bad, this and that. But if you don't go and vote, then who is going to care for you?
Very important.
The politicians are only going to care for whichever party. They are only going to care for those who go to the polling booth and vote.
Okay.
And that is one thing. The other thing is, traditionally, what we have seen over the years is, the voters say that there is no difference between one party and the other. They are unable to, they are just shades of grey. So they tend to vote on identity politics.
Okay.
So it may be religion, it may be caste, it may be region, etc.
Okay.
So, but if you give a voter someone who is really performing, whichever party, in that place, then I'm sure there will be a way for it. And we have seen that in the past.
Okay.
For different parties, depending on who is performing. But if you don't give the voters a chance, and you sell your tickets, and you appoint corrupt people as your candidates, then we voters don't have a chance.
Okay. All right.
So these are all issues.
Okay, all right. Same question to Mr. Venkatesh. Do you think people of Karnataka are voting for local issues for the general elections, or are they voting for national issues?
I think it's a cumulative of both. We see that last 10 years is regarded as the most darkest period in Indian history, Indian political history at least. That's how many people look at it. Reason being that what has the government done is a question that many people ask. The people are experiencing daily price rise. People from across the marginalized sections, whether it is workers section, whether it's women, whether it's garment factory workers, whether it is any workers that we talk of, working section is completely fed up. They see that they are unable to meet their daily needs. So that's something that's hit across all religion, all caste, all strata across. So there is a chunk of population in Karnataka who feel like this is not working out. The second part is there is a huge mobilization around communities that we see. They feel that the farmers' issue is the most unjust that's happening today. Okay. We see that farmers have been protesting in Delhi, and a lot of farmers from South India, from Karnataka have gone, and the farmers' issue has not been resolved at all. So what's the standpoint of the government? They pass certain laws which is very anti-farmers, and then they are forced to withdraw. They say they are going to withdraw, but then they don't meet the demands of the farmers again. Where is the minimum support price? Farmers are still desperate. You see about 174,000 farmers' suicides in Karnataka. This is a scale that we are looking at. Does the ruling government, does the BJP government understand this? Do they have a response? There has been no comment, there has been no response, there is no addressing any of the issues that matter to the people.
Okay.
Right from, let's say, daily necessities to travel to everything, people are paying GST, taxes and taxes and taxes.
Right.
Chunk of their earning is going in tax.
Okay.
On the other side, we see the government is writing off thousands of crores for the corporate. They're just writing them off. It's a write-off. It's okay. So how is that being understood? People are observing this. They see that this is not fair.
Okay.
One buys, you, me, any of us want to buy, let's say, a kg of rice. We pay 12 to 18% GST on that.
Yes.
Now, if somebody a well-off person has to go and buy a luxury item, a luxury car or a diamond, they're paying 1.5% GST. How fair is this?
Okay, all right. Yeah. Understood. I want to just move on to the next speakers as well. Prajwalaji, some of the panelists have raised the issue of communal hatred that they feel has been an issue this time around. Why do you feel that Karnataka then has developed this image of being a hotbed for polarization? Why has that happened?
Okay, so I have to say that I come from a bias of being a physicist, both by training and by passion and by profession. So my experience is more to do with how knowledge creation happens within institutions, but also I believe in bringing about scientific awareness. Scientific thinking is for everybody, so I do interact with people, and so whatever I can guess comes from this kind of a background. And I don't know about Karnataka making a name for itself like this, but it is the fact that incidents over the past several years are indicators of communal polarization, which to somebody like me who has spent most of my life in Karnataka, I grew up here. I grew up in a very different ethos where Karnataka, we grew up, with learning about the culture of Basava and the culture of harmony and all that as a very innate property of our state culture. So that is something that is, so what you describe is something that is new and something that is very disturbing, and it is not part of our tradition or culture. And I would say, in fact, that same tradition of the Vachanakaras, of Basava, was also a tradition of questioning, and it was a tradition of inclusion. So anybody could seek the truth, just like I believe that scientific thinking is for everybody. They also believe that everybody can seek the truth, regardless of their background and all of that. So that was the ethos of Karnataka. And I hope that people of Karnataka, don't forget that tradition and want to preserve that tradition and have voted in a way to preserve that tradition.
Okay. Shekhar, quickly, your thoughts on the same as well. Do you feel that Karnataka has somewhere developed this image, and wrongly, maybe that's your perception as well, that it's wrongly developed this perception of being a hotbed for polarization? Because ultimately, there are certain things that are being said which the people are reacting to, right? They're responding to it in Karnataka. So is it really fair to put the blame or pin the blame on certain political parties while not looking at the larger public reaction and response?
Devika, thank you for having me over. I think it's a poignant moment, and we're right opposite Vidhan Saudha, Ambedkar sir's statues here. But I think the larger focus is we are voting, and Karnataka is bustling. Karnataka as well as Bangalore is a bustling city. We have people from all parts of India here right now, not just Kannadigas, and that's what represents Karnataka. I think if I look at it positively, I think the way Karnataka votes, or the way India votes, or the way Bharat votes, that represents what we all feel and think right now. I think it's a wonderful day, wonderful moment. The whole of India is voting right now as one, and we should respect that. The second thing is polarization will happen with parties, and that's why the vote is really important for us, where we all come in and vote, and that's a birthright, and that's why you also come in as a channel and exercise our rights and opinions. But I think what is really critical and important for us as individuals, as educated individuals, to understand what is the larger picture here. What are we trying to do here? We have the power, we have the right to empower the right person at the right place with our votes, rather than being influenced by what we see around us. Like you said, it's news, not noise, right? So we need to look at news, don't need to look at noise, because there is a lot of fake news also being circulated around. And what is really critical and important is news, and trying to gather that and assimilate that and understand what is really critical and important. So I think focus on elections today. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Shekhar, thank you for that endorsement of our channel slogan as well. But Syed, coming back to you, then moving away from the topic of polarization and coming slightly to the national and the larger picture, the Congress party's recent promises of doing a caste survey and then following that up with a wealth survey, do you feel that that's resonated with the people around you, just from a personal opinion?
I would certainly say yes, it is very important. Also, as a matter of fact, what really puzzles me, Devika, is how the Bharatiya Janata Party is more bothered about the Nyaya Patra, the Congress manifesto, than their own Sankalp Patra. What has happened in the phase one, that Modi ji, a very tall leader of India, an absolute statesman, and also one of the most powerful global leaders we see today, resorts to rhetoric like a Mangal Sutra, ye log aayenge, tumhare zyada bachche walon ka, about redistribution of wealth. He also speaks of Ghuspetia, infiltrators. I believe my Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, who's so widely respected, does not resort to any puppetry, theatrics or rhetoric. We need inclusivity. We need unity in this beautiful diversity. The fact is, the Congress manifesto speaks about Yuva Nyay, Nari Nyay, Shakti Nyay, Hissedyari Nyay, Shramik Nyay. They speak of MSP on farmers, apprenticeship, they speak about providing jobs and so on and so forth. But we need to understand, fight the manifesto with the manifesto, not jumlebazi. Also, CM Yogi Adityanath ji said Sharia law will be implemented if Congress comes into power. Where in the manifesto is it mentioned? Sharia law is in a theocracy like a Saudi Arabia. India is a beautiful democracy where we can never have a Sharia law. Not just that, many factors that even Rajnath Singh ji mentioned that there will be a Muslim reservation in the armed forces. Absolutely not. Neither in the manifesto and Congress. I'd like to know, why is the Bharatiya Janata Party truly rattled today? What has rattled them that they need to resort to such factors? We need to understand that the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is an election-winning juggernaut, 24/7 election-winning machinery, should fight the opposition on ground and not resort to any such behavior. Anyway, 25 of the opposition leaders in the last 10 years have jumped ship. Even in Karnataka, if you look, Janardhan Reddy, 70,000 crore mining scam, has now jumped ship as an ally of the BJP. Ajit Pawar, who is from the nationally corrupt party, as per Modi ji, without Chakki piecing and piecing, has joined the BJP. So we'd like to know, the citizens of India, especially Karnikas, would like to know, is Bharatiya Janata Party a washing machine? That these brush netas like Doodh si safedi Bhajpa se aayi, brush neta bhi dhul dhul jai. So the youth of today will speak about, like many of the panelists today mentioned about price rise, inflation. Those are the topics. Hindu Muslim is not, because the Bharatiya Janata Party in the last 23 elections in the state learned that Hindu Muslim is not going to get good. Congress got a thumping majority of 135 seats. Hilal, hijab, azan, loudspeakers, all those were issues here, which actually are no issues. The youth wants job, the youth wants education, and we need to fight inflation and price rise, not by doing Hindu Muslim. Hindu Muslim gets no vote in Karnataka.
Hindu Muslim gets no vote in Karnataka, but and yes, Syed is pointing out that it's the BJP, as per him, that's spreading some sort of now misinformation about the Congress manifesto. But the Congress has said, Rahul Gandhi has said, that there will be a caste survey, there will be a wealth survey. Ma'am, do you feel that that promise then resonates with the people of India today, where we stand today?
I think most of the time I go by what the Constitution has said and fought for. And within the Constitution, the main tone is that of equality. And as far as there is inequality in this country, there are certain things that need to be done to bring about the assertion about that equality. So a caste survey per se is important, because today there is a lot of discrimination that is going on, and also this discrimination has to be highlighted by the way that the castes are positioned and the hierarchy by which they are positioned. So it's very important to bring about, because it is not just a caste hierarchy. Along with the caste hierarchy, the stratification is that of also class. So if you see the close stratification between that, wealth survey is also important, because it's important, but then how are you going to tackle that? I mean, you do a survey based on what parameters? You have such a wide division of wealth in this country, a wide distribution or inequality of wealth in this country. So what is this wealth survey really going to connote into? Is it going to take in Ambani and Adani's and the earnings of the wealth of the corporates so far? And are you going to correlate it with the kind of wealth that is not there with the people of India? Today there's wage theft that is happening in the unorganized sector and in the companies that we are related to, or the workers we are related to. So what is this wealth survey really going to help with? What is the caste survey really going to help with? Is it going to degrade more and more people into being into different castes and where they are? Is it going to bring about more high and low, because now it is public, the caste that we belong to and where we are put into, and where it is public that how the castes are divided. So what is the benefit from all this, and how is it really going to help the inequality that is there?
Okay, valid question there is. Dr. Rao, I just want to understand your perspective on the same as well. Does the India of today, is it looking for promises around a caste survey, understanding the different castes of the country, understanding the wealth distribution of the country, or are we at a point in India where we expect different promises from our leaders?
All I can say is that, unlike political scientists and others, I don't go around surveying the whole state. I know what happens, what is the views of people who come to my clinic and to get treated. And as a surgeon, this is my 46th year as a surgeon, people trust me with their life, not because of what caste I am, what religion I am, or from what region I am. They trust me with their life because of my performance. And this is what I expect from politicians. You perform. Don't get into all these identity politics. We are, as voters, are not concerned. So I was talking my experience as a surgeon. Now I'm talking as a voter. I've been voting for 50 years. I vote for someone who will perform, who will help me with the problems and with the public which is there. My patients and my contacts want education. They want employment, like it has already been mentioned. They want health and health facilities which can reach out to them.
Right.
So if any government is going to reach out with health insurance, with health facilities, with infrastructure, two of my classmates have died because they were working in some godforsaken place as doctors. And when they had a health issue, they couldn't reach another hospital for help because there was no proper infrastructure. Okay. So any government which gives infrastructure, which will improve education, health, definitely I'll vote for them. Okay. And infrastructure also helps the economy. Right. Now, there is no point a farmer sitting and crying in some place where all his fruits or vegetables or produce gets ruined because there is no cold storage, there is no electricity to run a cold storage. Right. All that gets ruined by a bad monsoon. So, and when he has a health issue or for education, his children can't go to the school or college. So, infrastructure is also very important.
All right. Taking that thought forward, Mr. Venkatesh, I want to understand from you then, between the BJP and the opposition India alliance, who do you think then has a better grip on the pulse of the people?
In terms of understanding what people are and what people are going through, I would say India alliance has a better understanding. I look at the BJP and NDA alliance as mostly in the Jumle Basi. I mean, look at 10 years. 2014, let's say it was a chance given by the people of India. 2019, again a chance given by the people of India twice. I mean, you see, 10 years, people are voting them and they have got nothing. This is not the India. No, this is definitely not the way a government is supposed to even behave. Including the commentary, I would resonate with Syed. What's the Rajasthan speech that the Prime Minister of India is doing? Is that something that we are saying? Is that the pulse? They have no idea about the pulse. They are interested in actually splitting the community. They are interested in the polarization of the community. Their interest is more in holding on to the power than to responding to the people's issue. What's wrong in saying, I'm sorry, we as a government failed and we would like to improve? Give us a chance. Okay. That would bring them much more credit. I mean, I would do that if I am the Prime Minister. I would say, I'm sorry, we failed you for the last 15 years.
That's very noble thoughts. I don't know how many Prime Ministers have actually ever taken responsibility of anything that has gone wrong.
Isn't that the type of government we want? Isn't that the type of government we want? We want somebody who can own up to their mistakes and say, this is what we are doing well and this is what we are not doing well. So I think the present dispensation has absolutely no idea about the pulse of people, but they are master craftsmen when it comes to polarizing the society.
Okay. All right. Prajwalji, same question to you. Do you feel between the BJP and the opposition India alliance, who has a better pulse of the people?
That is a difficult question for me to answer, as in I don't have that kind of expertise. But what I can say is that the pulse of any people would be forward-looking. They want to be able to address the crises that face us. They want their young people to be empowered to address the crises that are going to face us. So we are, as humanity, not just as India, but as humanity, we face an environmental catastrophe, a public public health catastrophe, and an inequity catastrophe, just to name the top three, I would say, in my ranking. And for that, you need a forward-looking educational system. You need scientific thinking to be fostered in everybody. And so therefore the educational system has to be modern, and it has to be scientific, and it has to be based on evidence. So we have to have that thing of young people being able to not believe anything without testing or trial, but also more importantly to be able to change their conclusions based on evidence. So evidence has to be at the base of everything, and they need to become discerning citizens, they need to become critically thinking citizens, while at the same time learning adaptable skills that will get them livelihoods and well-being and all of that. And I don't see that happening. In fact, whatever progress we had made in terms of our educational curriculum, in terms of the right to education, in terms of the national curriculum framework, which demands equality of outcomes rather than only equality of opportunity. And also the more recent things of tweaking the curriculum, where they've taken out the periodic table. Even from the English syllabus, they took away the lesson on Einstein. So these are not, to me, signatures that they are gearing up for a forward-looking society.
All right, fair enough points. I have last few couple of minutes left. But Shekhar, I want to ask you then, all the people who are then today saying that they're against Narendra Modi, are they voting for the opposition because they find the opposition to be credible, or are they simply voting for the opposition because they just want to defeat Narendra Modi?
See, at the end of the day, the numbers talk for itself, right? We know who's been ruling for the last 14 years, 15 years. The fact that the opposition still doesn't have a single leader as a leader, it speaks for itself. Now we were speaking about, the pulse of the country. Now we have seen the various rallies which have happened, the election rallies which have happened. You've been covering it, you've seen it in different parts of India. One man stands out, whether we like it or not, that's the Honorable Prime Minister. For his emotional appeal, for his storytelling skills, and for the way he's taken India forward. Now I, for one, have travelled across India, across the world for work. And I've seen how India's brand image has changed. Now obviously there is room for improvement. But I think what is really critical and important for us to understand is why we need a stable leadership right now. Because India is at a very different level as compared to earlier. In the last 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. We need employment, of course. We need, collaboration of ideas. Leadership is really important. Our emotional connect is really important. Our storytelling skills are really important. There are so many things which we are all working on. And we have noticed that the Prime Minister is trying to do whatever he can in terms of doing it. Now, for example, I'm from Kerala. There was an election rally which happened in Kerala when the Prime Minister had come in there. My mom had gone in 42 degrees heat to watch him. And there were people there who were fainted seeing him. Hysterical. But my point is there must be something about this man which makes people of all ages do something. Now, whether people like it or not, the numbers don't lie. And the numbers will come out, I'm sure, on June 5th. And I would be love to be proved wrong or proved right. But all I want is an India which is developed. And I want the future generations to also see an India which is developed, where there's no polarization, where we all live happily and we are a superpower.
Okay, all right. Yes, as Shekhar said, the numbers don't lie. Ultimately, it all boils down to the numbers. Yes, we all have our personal opinions, but 4th June will be the deciding factor. But Syed, sorry, I'm running out of time. I have literally been told 1 minute. I just have 1 minute. I want to do a quick rapid fire with everyone. One last question. I want to understand from you, has Narendra Modi done enough to bridge the gap between the North and South?
Absolutely not. With the imposition of Hindi which comes across to us Kannadigas, to Tamil Nadu and so on and so forth, that is certainly not enough. Also the devolution of taxes also, if you see, is not fair. Karnataka, it's very unfair. And the final point is, my friend spoke about polarization and so on and so forth. He still votes for Modi after being Bharatiya Janata Party polarizing so much. Let us say we are in Karnataka and enough of Hindu-Muslim has been done here. This land became a communal laboratory. We are a land of Kuvempu, we are a land of Baswana, where we speak of equality and social justice. This is not the justice we look at. And most importantly, when Modi ji is a world powerful leader, Namaste Modi happens, Ehlan Modi in Saudi Arabia, the same man speaks of Bangal Sutra, the same man talks about Ghuspetia, infiltrators, the same man speaks of jo log zyada bacche karne wale. Why is he targeting Muslims? If he is such a big leader, he needs to speak of Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Saath in the realist sense, and not just Jumlebazi. In the G20 summit, we speak of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one world, one family. How is it one world, one family when you take the Muslims away? It's absolutely unfair.
Sorry, I'm running out of time. Like I I said, 10 seconds to everyone else. I just want to understand from you, has Narendra Modi done enough to bridge? There was a cultural gap also between the North and the South. Do we understand each other better today?
I don't think so at all. There is no attempt at all, because his attempt is further to bring about a divide. And I don't look at it as a North and South. I look at it as people in the North who are belonging to certain caste and class, and people in the South who are belonging. So the bridge has been built with people from certain sections in the North of a certain caste and of a certain class. The North and the South bridge has been built between those sections, not of the vast majority of people.
Okay. Dr. Rao, enough done.
I think he has done a lot. He has done a lot because the economy is far better. The infrastructure is far better. All this helps you. He has done a lot during the pandemic to help us. We did far better than any other nation in the world as far as the pandemic is concerned, even the Western countries. And we helped everyone else also. So I think he has done on various fields he has been focusing on. And as to your question about North-South divide, he has been desperately trying to bridge the gap, at least with Tamil Nadu. May not be with our state, but he's definitely been desperately trying to bridge with Tamil Nadu, and now he's also focusing on Kerala. So I think he's making his effort. So we can't say that he didn't make an effort. And politicians by nature love to do the British style divide and rule. So that is their nature. And we doctors like to unite people and treat everyone.
Absolutely. 10 seconds to everyone. I'm sorry, I've run out of time. Sir, Narendra Modi's performance, how do you rate it?
I would rate it minus, not even in the zero. Has not done anything on the economic front. We are down. He's not done on the social front. We are polarized. The country is split. Has not done on the cultural front. Has not done in the infrastructure front. There is only one front that he has done well. He has gathered a lot of money through electoral bonds and Prime Minister case. That's the only the performance that I can rate him.
I was not aware of a North-South divide except in the last few years, and a lot of people, very regular people, have been complaining about how Karnataka state has not been given its due under the sort of voodoo of this whole GST mechanism, which was not the intention of the GST mechanism anyway. So that is a perversion, and the divisions are on many, many more lines, and inequity has increased as a consequence not of the pandemic, but of the policies that were instituted during the pandemic, of the policies that were instituted and the way the lockdowns were done, the way we closed schools first and opened them last, and the way we reduced wages while we kept up the productivity and all of that. There's been a huge inequity, and that has huge number of consequences, including for scientific research, for knowledge production, for equal access of education and knowledge creation to everybody.
All right. My apologies, I'm running out of time. Shekhar, 10 seconds, Narendra Modi's performance.
Devika, whether you like him or hate him, the fact is he's done what he can. He's worked hard for it. He's made numerous visits to South India, and I think this North-South divide is all man-made. I come from the northern part of India. I'm here in the southern part of India. I think it's all man-made. Ultimately, what happens is Bharat. India should win, Bharat should win, period.
Okay. All right, that's a good note to perhaps wrap up this conversation. I once again thank all of our guests and panelists for joining us from the iconic Vedant Sauda today to discuss what really is the pulse on the ground as far as Karnataka is concerned. Remember, only 14 seats have voted today. The remaining 14 will be voting in the next phase. So as we wrap up, one appeal to the people, please do come out and exercise your right. On that note, a very short break.
Thank you, Devika.